The Cleo Cut, a creative haircut that can be adapted to any hair length and any hair texture. This is our way of breaking down the hair's skull into different zones, enabling you to simply focus on the choice of length of your internal and external shape, creating the perfect bespoke hairstyle for your guest. When designing any haircut, it's important to look at the shape of the head when thinking about your internal and external lengths. Take a section behind the ear in a diagonal, working with your shortest lengths above the ear towards your longest lengths into the nape of the neck. Notice how the razor is used to create softness. As a variation, you could use scissors here, but notice how the razor is used behind the fingers. This creates softness. Scissors are cut in front of the fingers. That just creates a much stronger look and will require more softening out with your technique on dry hair at the end. Comb the hair to the head shape, just checking that it's going to sit exactly how you want it to and fall into a really lovely shape. Always follow a guide, but with a haircut like this you've really just got to feel it. Moving on to the left side, it's really important that we get the balance right between right and left. To do this, use your comb as a guide. So if you've got a measure on the back, or if you've got holes through the top like I have in this case, or whether you want to use the teeth of the comb, create a little guide for your shortest lengths and follow the same shape that you did throughout the right side. Be sure to be elevating to the same level that you did on the opposite side, checking as you go along and combing the hair into the shape that you're going to want it to sit when it's dry. Again, just checking the balance on both sides. It's going to save you so much time later, and this really makes a difference between a good haircut and an excellent haircut. As we move into zone 2 on the right hand side, we've got a few things that we need to think about here. We need to think about the amount of weight that we want at the front of the haircut. Where the front lengths are going to land. Are they going to bring out a nice smile? Are they going to bring out nice eyes? Are they going to strengthen up the jawline? How much weight do we want to leave around the external shape? When you're thinking about how much weight you want to leave around the external shape, you may want to start thinking about how much you want to be elevating the hair out and how short you want the internal lengths to be. So your starting point for when you use the razor. Another important thing to think about is how it's going to connect into zone 1. You can use a razor like a sculptor would, literally shaping and visually removing weight. When creating shape, I tend to use the main body of the razor, and when softening the hair, just point through the end of the razor. That'll help give you that little bit more softness. Repeat the same process for zone 2 on the left side. Once again, check the balance, check the lengths on both sides. Quite a good thing to do when you're working with disconnection is cut a bit, dry a bit, cut a bit, dry a bit. So literally working with each zone, and then in this case drying the underneath, so we can just check the balance, make sure the haircut's looking good before we work on the top. Use the wrap drying technique with the hairdryer, and just going to run through with the irons just to give it that extra shine and make sure that the hair's going to sit really lovely. Once the hair's straight, there's no hiding place for a bad haircut. Your personalising on dry hair can be done with a razor, or it can be done with scissors, and it can be done in a multitude of ways. The way that you can see here creates a lot of softness. Be careful not to adjust the shape of the haircut. Rather, just stroke out some of the weight or any kind of heavy lines that you can see. Here, follow the occipital bone down to the external part of the haircut, softening through, and really work with a stroking technique to leave some longer lengths around the hairline. You know, you can really go to town on this bit. You can really be a sculptor. You can play and you can have some great fun with this area. And you can really make somebody look and feel fantastic by spending a bit of time on each zone. Don't rush this part. Embrace it. Feel it. Enjoy it. The top zones are split into the left and right side, and there's 3 zones in total. Throughout the haircut, there's zones 3, 4 and 5. The great thing about this is you can start in whichever zone you feel right. Here we're using zone 3 as our starting point and working back through zones 4 and 5. The reason for this is we want to enhance our guest's cheekbones and follow the shape of the haircut that we created in the lower zones. There's no right or wrong with this, but what you do need to look at is the face shape. It's quite nice to leave a little bit of length from the top zones that are longer than the bottom zones here. Or get creative with colour. Colour each zone different. Use a bit of paneling to really enhance the haircut. Pull down the whole section and stroke the hair out in line with the shape of the haircut from the lower zones and sections, leaving some length through the ends to enhance the movement. Drop down zone 5 and think about what it is that you want to do with connecting or disconnecting with your lower zones and back to zone 3 at the front of this haircut. Again, it's got to come from the heart. You've got to feel this. You've got to be able to see it, play with it, and it's going to take some kind of kinesthetic feeling. It's going to come from your hands, pushing the hair into different shapes, moving the hair around, having a little play, and stroking bits out just till it sits in a really lovely place. Have a think about the type of blow dry that you want. In some cases you might just want to use your hands. In some cases you might want to have more shine and more stretched out hair. Depending on which brush you use, you're going to get a different result. Either way, focus on blow drying the root first. If you want to create a strong tension, go in with a Denman brush or a vest brush, and if you want to create something that's loose, you can use a vent brush. Go through and seal up the ends once the roots are dry with a round brush, and then add more shine and seal down / lock down that cuticle with the hair irons. As an alternative, you could smooth out the underneath and maybe tong the top, or you could let it dry with a diffuser. This is such a creative haircut, there's no right or wrong, and we'd love to see what you're able to produce using the Cleo Cut sectioning pattern. Spend a bit of time styling the hair. If the haircut's the present, this is the gift wrapping. It's a really great way to finish it off. Your guest is going to love it if you spend a bit of time finishing this off, putting the final touches to it, sprinkling your special sauce on, adding the cherry on the cake, and really making sure that you get a nice picture at the end. But there we have it, the Cleo Cut. It's full of movement, full of softness, fantastic shape that can be personalised to any of your guests, and a whole lot of fun to do. Hope you enjoy playing with this technique, and please share your work with us, as we love to see what you create.